Shouts to everybody that's locked into Rewind Sundays. You guys know what it is here on a Sunday here at Soundchat Radio when we go vintage for the whole entire day. Kicking off at 6 a.m. all the way till 12 a.m. midnight, right? Taking you back in time and showing appreciation for those who set the pace, those who built the foundation for the music that we now know and love. My guest today, gentleman who has done so much for the musical culture in different aspects. There's so much about this brethren that people know, but there's also so much about this brethren that people do not know. Welcome right now to Soundchat Rewind Sundays on the Bobby Channel 1 show, Mr. Leroy Sibbles. Leroy, how you doing, brother?
Blessed love, man. Yes, I'm here,
Give thanks, my brother.
To the eye and all your fans out there.
One of the things that I want to say before we kick off today's discussion is thank you. I don't think that we say thank you enough to the people like yourself. One of my colleagues in the studio is asking me to ask you, is it true that Lynn Tate was responsible for the change from ska to reggae during your time?
Like I just said,
no one is responsible. It was a natural progression.
Right, exactly. No one individual can make claim to this.
Seen. Now, what was going on during that time? Because I know a lot of your story, Leroy. I've been fortunate enough to have been studying what you've been doing and understanding that you've played roles not only as Leroy, the lead singer of the Heptones, but you've done so much more things behind the scene. I know that you helped to develop a whole lot of artists. I know that you sung background vocals on so many tracks, but I want the listeners to kind of understand the magnitude of the person that you are and how humble you are with your contributions. So let's take it from the beginning. How did you get into the studio? What was your first recording?
Okay, our first recording was two songs we did for a guy called Penlock. It was done by Parade, Kingston, like South Parade, downtown Kingston. Mm-hmm. And he was looking for new artists, for his new record label that he was creating. So we heard about this, me and we, meaning Barry Llewellyn and Earl Morgan, the other two members of the group, that was formed by us three as the Heptones. Mm-hmm. And we wrote two songs. I wrote two songs because I've been the consistent writer and arranger, for and of the group for since
those times till now.
Yeah, exactly.
So I'm sorry to be jumping over the place, but I think your story is very important. How was the group formed? It was just brethren that came together? Was it an audition that brought you together? How did you form?
Yeah, I was involved doing harmony in another little group, running in my area where we call Ghost Town, off Trench Town, and the other two guys heard of us, practicing on our corner. A girl was leading and I was doing harmony, me and another guy. And Barry and her heard of us, and they were from another part of the area, of the ghetto, and they came across and, they met us and we all would jam together at times and times. So the original group that I was in with the girl broke up, mm-hmm. And the news came about this guy wanting artists, and we decided to form the group, the Heptones, and I wrote two songs. We went for an audition, and the guy, they liked the songs, and we recorded. There was no itch, no problem. It's like destiny being,
destiny being fulfilled.
Exactly.
How many members in the original group of the
Heptones? Three vocal singers.
Three vocals. Now, do you remember the first two songs that you wrote that you guys?
That's what I'm telling you. One was called Schoolgirls. The other one was called Gunmen Coming to Town.
And those two songs were actually recorded.
Yes, and they were released right away too. It took no time for me to hear it on the one radio station that we had was called Radio Fusion, mm-hmm. at the time, and I heard that it drove me crazy hearing myself on radio for the first time.
Now, is that the beginning for you, or do things get rougher now, and you have to, do more recordings in order to compete with what was going on at the time? So, was it an instant rise to stardom for you guys for those two songs, or were there a lot more work to put in for you to become stars?
They weren't songs that brought us to stardom. What they did, they made us, got more interested in what we're doing now. We got more impetus now. We got a taste of stardom.
Where does the work bring you now? You know you guys are hearing yourself on the radio, so you can.
We started to rehearse more now, a whole lot.
Yes.
We started to rehearse like crazy. I actually bought myself a guitar and was being taught to play this guitar, an acoustic guitar, and when I learned that, it helped me to write better songs for the group too, and I was the teacher. They were the music conductor and everything. The songwriters.
So you were a major part of the group. Major.
I'm telling you. Yeah, because what I did, I stayed home in the daytime while the other guys went out and do what they usually did before, and when they came in the afternoon, we'd get together, and I would always be presenting them with new songs, and the harmonies and everything. All the parts were already arranged. So I said, you sing this, you do that, way, and we got it going. Then we would be able to practice. And I love to do this. It was a joy, doing this. It was so we practiced for a while, and then we decided that we're sounding good now, so let's go test Studio One. That's Brentford Road. It was very close. It's a walk away from us.
Which was my next question. How long did it take before you guys got to Studio One and met up with Cox and Dad?
Yeah, just a couple of months we practiced, and we got some songs in there that we practiced, and we thought we were ready for an audition. So on a Sunday we walked over to Cox's studio, and we met the Gay Lads and Ken Booth for the first time.
So who were some of the other artists there already recording or waiting to record for Studio One at the time when you guys arrived?
Like I said, the first time we went there, everything was strange. Everyone was strange. We were strangers, Yeah. So, like I said, we met the Gay Lads and Ken Booth, who they were doing the auditioning on that Sunday. So we waited till our time. We went up and we sang our songs. We sang about 2 songs or so. And the Gay Lads said, yeah, they liked us, and we should come back in the week. And bam, we were in.
What was that feeling like though, Leroy? Like, because when we think of, Studio One, we think of, that would be similar to Motown here in the States, right? That's the college, that's the platform that everybody wanted to be on. Were you guys nervous going in to do that audition? How did you feel at that? What was that feeling like before you got the approval to say, okay, you guys pass, come back another day to do recording? What was that feeling like?
Well, I cannot talk for the other 2 guys, but I was nervous as hell.
Right.
Walking in there for the first time, when we were going to do our first recording, and then when we were called inside the studio, that's when we met Jackie Mitu and all the other members of the Scatterlights, meeting all these people for the first time too. We were just little guys there amongst all these big greats,
Who was a star at Studio One during that time? Who were the stars?
Jackie Mitu.
Jackie Mitu.
Although his name wasn't called. The Heptones were the ones who made Jackie Mitu famous.
And,
You know?
and how so? Explain that to me.
But yeah, I'll get back to that. But people that were famous inside there at that time was like the Wailers for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and Ken Booth, the Gay Lads, and all those people, and Delroy Wilson, all those people, you know, the earlier people.
How long did it take you and your group to start to become, to gain a little traction on those brethren who were running the business at the time?
No time. No time. Almighty God, no. As we recorded, our songs were being released. I heard one of the first release that they put out for us was a song called Ting-a-ling, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when they released Ting-a-ling, that song it was on a slower beat, you know, and they re-recorded. I guess Coxon asked Jackie for another tempo of this said song. Now they love the song, you know, and the song was done. And then the very first release that Coxon put over a song called "That Change Has Got to Come." That we did.
Well, you got to bear with me and move a little bit slow because I want to bring the listeners on a musical journey today as I speak to you. Because listen, we are speaking to, of course, Leroy Sibbles people, and again, this man has done so much for the music. I don't want to rush the conversation at all. Now, I don't know if this is the original cut, but I also want to give people an understanding of the songs that you're speaking about as we have this conversation. Leroy, when you hear these songs, do they bring you back to the time?
Exactly. Right there. That part of time running through Trenchtown and saying, when you hear that, I mean that. Yeah.
So we spoke about the getting into the studio one. We spoke about getting the approval. We spoke about the brethrens that were running the place, and then we got to the fact that it didn't take you too long to get some traction for your name to be calling amongst the bigwigs in the industry at that time. What was that feeling like, and what was the first big number one for you?
You want to say the first number one where we have was never played on the radio. We did play on the radio, but it played only for about 2 weeks, you know.
Why so?
Because they said it was suggestive. It sounded suggestive. There you go.
Fatty.
There you go.
So Bobby Channel 1 is in the studio, and also Jawise just told me to heal you up. Tipper and Jawise.
Yeah, man, my brethren, them man. Jawise, they don't know. Bobby, how you mean?
And they are so excited that I'm on the phone talking to you that they're acting as if I'm asking them to answer the questions, but it's really you I need to answer the questions.
Hey, them man know my brethren, man. Them man have a brethren. Them know the thing.
So they are saying that Fatty was the song that kind of got you guys in a little trouble there with the radio stations.
Yeah, because when we made that song, a jukebox, because Jamaica is full of jukeboxes, and back in them times, every bar in the city had a jukebox. And there was a bar in every corner of every street, roughly. Yeah, because it's a bar enough in Jamaica from long time.
Right.
So when the song was released, it was on the radio station. It played for like about 2 weeks, and they banned it because they said it was suggestive, like we said.
Sexually suggestive, I guess.
Yeah, lyrically.
Yeah.
Sexually.
Yeah.
It's just that song, Yeah, but and look where I go on now, because you all them things where I go on nowadays. So time has changed. Yeah, that's why I talk about the changes of time.
No,
you know what I mean?
I want to talk to you about Fatty, right? What was the whole vibe behind that? Where did the lyrics come from? What was your inspiration behind that?
Yeah, well, when I learned to play my guitar, I just have a guitar because I'm trying through the whole of Trenchtown every day, like a my girl that under my arm, you know what I mean? Yeah, man. So I find myself in a yard right beside a twin sister pipe where everybody uses. It's a public pipe. And this yard is right there where they play them bingo and all them things. So I went inside the yard about a midday, and inside the auntie because everybody passed through. It would be you know, a town hall or something, like a meeting place. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Stop inside, you know, and this lady, like a short lady, she lives inside actually. Push the gate and come in and just jokefully, and I'm going to start playing this Tilka song and say, I need a fat girl tonight. And maybe I'm a youthfulness too. Maybe you really need a fat girl still. I don't know. I don't know where that comes from. I'm mostly within the subconscious as I own. Yeah, you know. But the song was taken in, and everyone requested that song after that day. That song, that day, I have to sing that song quite a few times before I could leave the yard. People just love it, and that's the thing I had about me too. You know, that was a part of my magic. When a song came, I could sing it back right away, like it was written out long time ago, like I had it. And song just come to me, you know. Most of the songs that was number one, but if I play my guitar, find some chords and play, I'm just start singing the tune. And after I sing it one time, I can sing it back again without itch.
If you're just joining, I'm speaking to Leroy Sibbles here for Rewind Sundays. Bobby Channel 1, of course, is at the control. Jawai's Tippertone is in the building. How does this change things for you? Now it's the first number one. It can't be played on radio. But we know as people in music that when the songs get banned, oftentimes they get bigger than if they were being played on the radio every day. What was the effect of this song for you in those times?
Yeah, man. The name of the Heptones rose up big, man, like a mountain, man. And from there we started putting out hits like crazy now on the radio station. By then, we had two radio stations. Now we had, I think, the JBC came in there too. So it was the RGR or something. But there were two radio stations at that time now, right? I think it was JBC that just came as a competing radio.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and we had number one and number two spot sometime or one at a time on both radio stations. The number one and the number two position with two different songs.
So there was a time that you started to dominate the scene in Jamaica.
Totally.
Now let me rewind. Let me rewind a little bit. Rewind Sundays, of course, but let me rewind a little bit in the conversation. How did it make you feel? What was your first response to hearing that the song got banned? Were you upset about it? Did you know that, at the time that when the songs get banned, they would become bigger? Or were you kind of, how did you feel about the fact that knowing that the radio stations wouldn't play the song? Were you upset?
My brethren, I didn't have time to get upset because the song already bust out by every jukebox.
So it really didn't matter. It didn't matter that the radio wasn't playing it.
No, I did not miss no radio. Mm-hmm. No. I'm telling you, every corner you turn, a 40 a year. It nearly mad me actually.
And you know the reason why I asked you this.
It almost drove me crazy.
The reason why I asked you this, Leroy, is because back in your days, the music organically produced hit songs. There was no, having to, ask the disc jockey on the radio station to play the song more than it should be played. There was no illusion, put there. It was just the songs did what they needed to do to become the big songs, So the fact that the radio station says, no fatty, and organically through every jukebox throughout Kingston and the rest of the country, gravitated to this song, you and I know that these are how the hits actually happened back in those days. And that is the reason why I can speak to you now, play Fatty on the radio, and still get the response as you got years ago when it was first recorded, because it's a natural hit song.
Definitely.
Now,
definitely.
You said that you start to dominate and you start to make hits after hits. Are you making these hits for Studio One? Do you jump from Studio One and you go someplace else?
No, we stayed at Studio One for a while, about 7 years.
7 years at Studio One?
Yeah.
Now you spoke about the people that you came into, You came into Studio One and saw. Who came after you or during your time now that you guys were whether competing directly or competing indirectly for the big songs and the big spots on the charts? Who were some of those artists in your time?
Okay, that's where another transition came, right? Because I came in as a thing there as a lead singer or as a group, member of a group, Leroy Sibbles, me personally, we're talking about right now, and then Jackie Me too made a transition to Canada. He left and went to Canada, and eventually I found myself as the bass player and Studio One arranger.
So that was Jackie Matu's job before he left.
Yes, that was Jackie Matu's job.
Okay.
And they tried a lot of people like, other art to take that position, but they just couldn't do it. And so I got myself that because I was the little youth from the ghetto around the corner there who
love this bass guitar.
Full of vibes, full of vibes, full of vibes. Vibes that flow like, music from the radio. So we have to say, Jackie Me too left, and so I started, me and the rest of the band, that the band that I was around, where they called Soul Vendors. At Studio One.
Yeah.
We were responsible for some like Dennis Brown. You're talking about new people that came in and saw us, Dennis Brown. And we did that great album for Dennis Brown, No Man is an Island album.
So stick a pin before you go any further, right? Because these are very important things that we're speaking about. So you were at Studio One before Dennis Brown?
Definitely, yes.
Okay, who else comes after Dennis Brown? I want people to understand your journey. So take it slow for me, and don't be annoyed that I'm asking you questions and stopping you, because this is very important. One thing that I do like to preach here at Soundchat Radio is that we need to honor the legends while they're alive and congratulate them while they can hear us giving them the applaud. You are somebody, my brethren, that deserves so much applaud, and I want people to understand your journey. So you were there before Dennis. Who else comes during that time after you?
Cornell Campbell.
Cornell Campbell.
No, Cornell Campbell.
Yes.
Go ahead again.
Yeah. People like Carlton and the Shoe, the Burning Spear.
Burning Spear.
Oh yes.
Wow.
We recorded the first album for the Burning Spear.
So you played a role in recording the first album for the Burning Spear. You also played a role in recording the first album for Dennis Brown, which is No Man is an Island.
Yes.
Anything else that you can remember?
Yeah, man. Of course. John Holt left the Treasure Isle studio and came to Studio One while I was there, and I played on all of those Studio One John Holt. Most of those Studio One John Holt songs.
So you were there before John Holt as well. Keep going.
Yeah, Horace Andy.
Horace Andy.
Horace Andy. The Clarendonians.
The Clarendonians.
Yeah. Well, I can remember right now off my head. Alton Ellis.
Alton Ellis.
Yes, because Alton left Treasure Isle during the set time of John Holt, because those people used to record at Treasure Isle, and they left and came to Studio One, and I had the pleasure of recording most of those studios.
Leroy, since we went through the break, I have gotten WhatsApps with people saying, boy, me never know them man that they're Studio One before Dennis Brown. Boy, me never know them man that they're there before Alton. This is the reason why we have these conversations, because so many people just don't know. We assume that, and our industry runs this way. And let me, say this to those of you who are listening. You guys always think that the noisiest person in the room is always the biggest contributor. That's just how we look at things. Well, here is a brethren that has been quiet over the years. He's not that, loud and noisy, but his contributions speak for themselves. Let's continue the conversation, Leroy. Where did we leave off? We left off at Sata Masagana. We left off at Love I Can Feel.
Actually, I want you to play for me one of the biggest tunes where, it's a mash up dance. All the man that were there, I just sit alive, what him face when I said it, This is what I call Drifter.
Drifter.
Yeah.
Leroy Sibbles Drifter. Bobby Channel 1, you better find it,
Hey, a two-tune me give the youth, and the two-tune it, Hey, I'm with a fire with bassline, And the next time it's called Heart Don't Leap.
Oh, so Drifter and Heart Don't Leap.
Yes, man. I two of the biggest shows we give Moody's. Them two tunes make Moody's get rich.
So wait there, you play the bass line on them two tunes there?
An arrangement to hands and all them things. And the bass line you play alone,
That is Dennis Walks, right?
You see what I'm section and my one, Enough of these hands, because you see, to me that the group, the Heptones, the harmonies was what thing where it was part of my practice. So I brought it to the hand section of the band when I got inside it. Most of the pretty hand section they were here play studio one hand section. I mean, man, if you can't find anything for the mode thing, I'm just just touch them for me now. After that, hey, you remember Wailing Souls, studio one Wailing Souls? I mean, play all them tunes there,
Jeez!
Things and Time and all them tunes there,
Listen.
Them tunes they're bouncing,
If you're just tuning in, I'm speaking to the great Leroy Sibbles, and we're not only talking about the songs that he sung. We're talking about the songs that he arranged and played bass for other brethren who also became big artists themselves in these times, right?
Hey. It's when it starts, someone get excited. I'm so excited now. And then talk about bass line, because now tell us, I'm drop some bass line where I know I'm excited when we remember that.
Do you get more excited about the bass line or more excited about these hit songs that you've sung? Talk to me.
But the bass line, because the bass lines are contribution that I made that made all these artists that helped to make all these artists famous.
Wow.
So, you understand?
So the hit songs for you come second to the bass lines that you've created for so many artists.
Yes, because enough words that make old man get recognition and a heat. I know. Bass is a very seven, and the enough of my bass line develop. Hey, my contribution in enough is Sanchez too, That's why I love Sanchez, because it's when Sanchez see me, him give me respect. The thing where we are. What Barry Saman say? He say he takes our stuff and makes it better. I agree. I could agree with that, but he still takes our stuff.
Did you ever stop to think at any time in your career when you were creating these bass lines that they would last so long and be so monumental in our culture?
No, because what I'm doing at the time, at the moment, it was momental thing.
You just try to make a hit record for the moment, don't it?
Yes. Yeah. I search for what this music need,
Well, here what? Before you say another word, let's go to the Drifter. If I open the phone lines right now, the phone lines should be buzzing. The local piece of conversation with me and Leroy have, because we don't reach nowhere yet in the talking, You guys have learned so much about Leroy in the little few minutes that I've been talking to him. Them big song there. Leroy. And we can go on and on and on with contributions that Leroy has made. You hear what the man say? Sanchez borrow him thing. Him no feel no way about that. Cause him love Sanchez. Barris borrow him thing. Him no feel no way about that. I'm sure Leroy can mention more and more big acclaimed artists that have been using his bass line.
I really think, man.
So Leroy, before we go back into the story, because I think this is fun and I think this is educational and I like to do interviews different. Give me some more song now. Where you shock out on the bass line there?
Yeah, man. Let me not tell you about the Wailing Souls, man. Things and time, man. Rum, ching ching boom, ching ching boom, ching ching chung, ching ching. Things and time shall oh.
Bobby, I hope you're listening, you know, Bobby, because you have to find them tune there, you know, Bobby.
I have to find that.
You have to find them tune there, Bobby. Big up to Uncle Jawise, we're in our studio as well. Go ahead, give me some more.
Tune like 10 to 1. Queen of the Minstrel.
Jeez!
Stars.
Why don't the stars start shining? Bobby, find them tune there, Bobby.
Oh, yeah, man.
Anybody that's tuned in right now, it's Rewind Sundays, and we're talking to Leroy Sibbles on the phone. And we're not only talking about his career as an artist, but we're talking about his career as a musician. And the man said something to me where it's shocking. And I know it's shocking to you guys as well. Number one for him is his bass line. And then the songs that he became hits with, each song that became hits is second. The man is so proud of his bass line that we're going through his catalog right now. Bobby, I want you to keep up, you know. Got it done up on the phone, you know, Bobby. I want you to keep up, you know, Bobby. You ready? All right, Leroy, let's go, let's go. Leroy!
Yes.
Leroy!
Yes. Murder.
What an interview, sweet man.
I tell you, man.
Leroy, I want you to go back in your mind. And I want you to come up with some more songs.
Yes.
I want you to come up with some more songs.
Yes. All right. What about the cables?
Bobby.
The cables.
Here what go on now, Leroy. You have Bobby Channel 1 under pressure in our studio, you know.
You know, man.
Here what go on, Leroy, man.
Find them quick.
Here what go on, Leroy, because more time pan all a Rewind Sunday, you know. Bobby Channel 1 coming in our studio like say him name all hits, you know. So you see right now, the whole world will listen to Soundchat radio on a Sunday, you know. You have him under pressure, you know, because anyhow him can't find your selection, you know. A problem, you know. You ready, Bobby? Leroy, these songs that we're talking about, right? I know that you said that you do some of the arrangements and you play the bass line, but do you help with the formulating of some of the lyrics as well? How in-depth were you involved in some of these songs?
No, occasionally we did a lot of backup singers and stuff, but I have never been involved in the actual lyrics of the singers, you know, music.
So you kept your lyrics for your songs?
Yeah, oh yes.
Kept all your lyrics for your songs?
And the guys usually all these singers that you hear that you have played, they come with their songs and they come with their song ready. Because they come with a hit song, you know, so all they wanted was the hit music to go with it, you know what I mean?
Now, I gotta ask you a question, right? And I want you to explain this for myself and other people who don't know much about that time. You know, what was the situation between Treasure Isle and Studio One at the time? Because I know you said some artists left Treasure Isle and came over to Studio One. Was Treasure Isle the competing studio, the competing label?
Yes. Those two were the two competitive studios, and they were sound system guys too, you know. So both of them are the two number one sound. Treasure Isle, the sound system, and Cox and Studio One are the number one sound system. So they've been competing from the sound system until they went into recording, you know?
No,
so they're always like that.
That's an interesting thing because there were two sound systems that went into recording, and were the artists going back and forth, or if you were with Treasure Isle, you just stayed with Treasure Isle, if you were with Studio One, you stayed with Studio One. How did that go for you guys? Could you make the choice? Could you play for both sides, or did you have to pick a team and stick with that team?
Usually they pick team because originally John Holt and the Paragons were with Treasure Isle and Alton Ellis too, you know. But after a while, again, you get fed up and you hear that Studio One now I carry the swing or something. I don't know. Because they left and came out. You know what I mean?
So did you guys at Studio One lose some artists to Treasure Isle as well? Like how they lost artists to you guys?
Not really.
Or from them come at you, them stay at you?
If let them come, I don't really mean a Cox. I Studio One, you know?
Yeah, so when they came to Studio One, they stayed?
We have to give after that them credit, you know, because they put out some bad tunes, you know.
Say it again. Give who?
Treasure Isle.
Treasure has some their credit because they put out some wicked songs.
Yes, man.
What?
But Studio One always have the edge, you know what I mean?
What were you?
Leroy the dead, you know what I mean?
Were you ever tempted to work for Treasure Isle or no? You were comfortable where you were.
Yeah, you know that I went there with John Holt and we did a song because I was there, but I was never tempted to move from Studio One to Treasure Isle.
Never tempted at all. You were comfortable where you were.
Oh yeah. Because I was deeply involved in the business. I wasn't there just as a singer. I was there as everything, as an all-arounder. You know what I mean? I was the studio arranger. I was the bass player. I even on Sundays I found myself there doing auditioning on artists to come to work. You know what I mean?
Now so, let me ask you this though. Was there ever a time that you felt that you were overwhelmed with work? Too much people were depending on you for the bass line and you were just, overwhelmed, or were you always ready to go and produce the next hit song?
For most of the time I was there. I was fully involved and I loved being involved.
You love being involved?
Yes, man. It kept me busy and it made me feel important too, you know?
As
I get to youth way before all of this, wasn't sure what my
your future would be.
Yes.
You
understand what I'm saying?
Well, I'm not gonna let you get away, man. It's Rewind Sundays, and I'm so happy to have you part of Rewind Sundays. So I want to go to Dennis Brown. Let's speak of some of the Dennis Brown songs that you played a role in.
Yes. I will start with the biggest, the number one, Dennis, the first hit song for Dennis Brown, involved Leroy Sibbles, and I'm grateful. It's No Man is an Island.
If you're just tuning in right now, we're speaking to the great Leroy Sibbles, and we're not only speaking about his career as a vocalist, but we're also speaking of his career as someone who has been instrumental in the roles of other acclaimed artists in our music culture. Turn up your radios loud. This is No Man is an Island by Dennis Brown, played and arranged by Leroy Sibbles.
Well, Dennis is my sign, we're both under the same sign, signature sign of the Almighty. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. With a Joseph like myself. So
I'm a Joseph as well, so I'm glad. I'm glad that you're Yeah, man. I feel like that's why we're having such a good vibes on the phone, my brother.
Yeah, man, because we are joyful people.
Yes, I are. Yes, I are.
Yes, I are.
Let me put the Leroy Sibbles.
I wish you didn't play the original No Man is an Island, though. I never get a joy out of that version there a while ago.
Yeah, you have the original. Start it from the beginning, Bobby. Start it from the beginning.
No. You have the original?
Yeah, man.
Yes.
Bobby.
Yeah.
Me don't want you play with the artists, For
real.
When Leroy says shoot, me want you shooting, Bobby.
For real.
I don't want you fire no fake shot neither, Bobby.
Hey, Bobby, let it go.
Let it go, Bobby. Let it go.
Why, you really put me on the spot. The whole of them out. The whole of them out. Every man have him time. You know what I mean?
Are you playing it safe? Or do you, I feel like you play it safe, I feel like you play it safe, my Joseph brother.
No. It's more time. It's not the singer, it's the song.
It's a song. Okay. Okay. What project would you say that you had so much fun working on besides the Dennis Brown No Man is an Island? What project did you find yourself having so much fun working on?
Well, it's all of them music they're coming down. Hey, there's a song you see that I did for Alton Ellis outside of Studio One. We did it for VP Records, for Randy's. Not VP Records, for Randy's. Them that live longer time, like our Randy's mother and father that run the thing. And now tell you, man, it has one of the most outstanding bass lines that I've ever played in the history of. Yes,
let me stop you. We're gonna take I think a 4-minute break. I don't want anybody to miss anything that you're saying. When we come back, we come back with Alton Ellis. Are you cool with that?
Good thing, man. Go ahead,
All
man.
right, my brother, you can't go nowhere, you know. I don't want you hang up, you know, because today is your day on Rewind Sundays. You hear, sir?
You really got to make it money.
All right. Leroy, there's so much questions coming in for you. There's so many things that people thought they knew, but that they really don't know.
Yeah.
I want to thank you once again, my brethren. Thank you
Yes.
so much for your contribution.
Yes, man. Thank you too, man.
Let's talk about the journey, man.
I had fun too. It was a joy, you know.
Well, it's not over yet. I don't want you to run so quick. I'm not going to hold you too much longer, but I really want to, get inside your music and get inside your creativity. You know what I mean? We spoke about the banning of the music on the radio. We spoke about the forming of the group. We spoke about a lot of the songs that you played. We actually went through some of the catalog. Give me some of those magical moments for you throughout your journey.
Oh man!
Are there artists that you enjoyed working with so much? Are there times when you thought that you wanted to walk away from the industry because it was just overbearing? We spoke about the good times. Let's speak about the bad ones.
Okay. Sometimes I remember some of the times when I used to be like in Canada, and I remember a certain tour we did where we went up north. And we all had a small little bus. And we realized that when we went up north, the winter was terrible, and the bus was leaking, was getting frost coming inside, and that was a downer. That trip was a downer, that tour was.
So was that just the Heptones alone, or were you in concert with other artists?
That was just Leroy Sibbles and a band that I had put together in Canada while I was living there,
So when do you go on your own from the group? That would be a good conversation to have. At what point do you go on your own?
Okay, like in 73, late 73, me and the group was in England, and when it was time to leave, I went to Toronto for a little while, and we came back home. So that's when we did had a little break, because I stayed for a while in Canada. They came up and they were there for a while too, and they came back to Jamaica and decided that they wanted to go on the road, and so they put someone behind my back, as a fake lead. And I went on the road like that and destroyed the name that I made for the Heptones, man.
But clearly they quickly realized that nobody can replace Leroy Sibbles, correct?
Definitely, they had a hard time out there, because when they advertised the Heptones, and then when at the presentation they were singing it was and then the sound wasn't as people expected, and it just blew the whole thing apart,
So what allowed you, what was going through your mind at the time? Did you just want a break, or was things going wrong with the group? Why you decided to take some time off?
From that happened, I decided to say, that I'm going to go do some solo work, and that's how my name came in play, because people didn't even know so much of Leroy Sibbles until I went solo. You understand?
So it was just Heptones. You were just referred to as the Heptones.
As the Heptones,
right?
Leroy Heptones.
Now, when you start to do the independent career and you become Leroy Sibbles, how does that work out for you? What was that career like?
Well, after a while, people started to put one-on-one together and realize who I really was too.
Mm-hmm.
So I started to get respect and all that, and the work was there, the sound was there for me, to present myself, to represent myself. So it wasn't hard, because I was always the one who was up there doing all of this stuff. So it was easy to put a band together. It was easy to put some backup singers together somehow. And we had the thing. In Canada, I became a household name in no time.
Mm-hmm.
We had a club called the Bamboo Club that we used to play there like every weekend. you know. And that place will be packed every weekend with all sorts of people. I mean, jam packed. After a while, if you come there after 1 o'clock, you couldn't get it.
Now, let me ask you this: were you singing Leroy Sibbles songs, or were you still singing the catalog of the Heptones?
Yeah, but the catalog of episodes were all my songs, you know. So these are songs that made us make the group popular, you know. So definitely, I would be singing my songs.
Those of you who are listening, we are speaking to Leroy Sibbles, journeying through his career. This man has done so much great things. I know we're about to wrap it up in a few minutes. Bodyguard is taking over next, Johnny Gard, of course. But before we go, Leroy, can you just give me some more of those songs that you played the bass line for that has excited so much of the listeners tonight?
Oh yes, man. The last arrangement and bass play and bass that I played on a song was the Book of Rules.
Bobby, Leroy wants you to find the Book of Rules, and he's warning me to warn you that he wants you to play the original one.
After that, tell him say after that I want him to find a tune in Larry Marshall named Heart and Soul.
Larry Marshall, Heart and Soul, Bobby. And while Bobby's looking for those tracks, I have a question here to ask you from one of the DJs here, Joseph Dimension. He's asking, Chin, please ask Leroy Sibbles who played drums on the Top LP 1969. Do you remember that LP?
On top, God. I think it's Joe Isaac, if I'm not mistaken.
Joe Isaac.
Yeah, I think so, yes.
All right, so Joe Isaac is the answer to that question, Joseph Dimension. I'm getting some other let me see if I can, I know you have fans all over the world and people want their own answers to certain questions.
Sure, and if I can answer, I will.
And yes, 718-554-8598 is that number in studio. 718-554-8598. We're speaking to Leroy Sibbles. Someone else is asking if you are in a comfortable place with Sly and Robbie.
I think I have no problem with them. I don't know what's on the other side there, but I am good.
I guess would it be, maybe in the past they have replayed some of your songs, some of your rhythms? Is that what people may be talking about? I'm just guessing.
I don't know.
Yeah, people ask strange questions.
But Say Robbie are great musicians. I have respect for them. Yeah, they put out some great work.
Who else do you hail as a great musician? Speaking of that, I asked you about singers, but I didn't ask you about musicians.
Let's talk about Claire Rabbit too, I want to add another thing. There's a song that I did called Freedom Blues.
Freedom Blues.
Wow. Yeah, Claire Rabbit did that over and call it MPLA.
MPLA. So
yeah.
It's freedom, Bobby. Leroy is putting you to work. I don't want you cuss me after the interview. I better you cuss Leroy now. No cuss me after the interview. Leroy wants you to find Freedom Blues, right? Originally he has played on that as well.
Yeah. The original is Freedom Blues. The redone is like I said, MPLA.
718-554-8598 is that number in studio. WhatsApps are coming in from so many top selectors here in the New York area. Baby Q is hitting me up and saying, "Heal up Leroy" as well. He's commenting to the conversation. Listen, we are all, anybody who plays music, reggae music, dancehall music from our culture has to respect the works that you have put down, my brother. Trust me, 100%.
I am totally agreeing with you.
100%, my brother. I mean, I remember one time being at a stage show, and I don't know if, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but is there also a rhythm that Barrington Levy has sung on that you've played on?
I'm not sure, because I knock to the place. I can't
Yeah,
really.
and I know that sometimes they make over the rhythms as well. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
maybe
of
you
course,
didn't.
they always do that.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
you
man.
didn't make it, play for Barrington Levy, but somehow I think Barrington Levy got back on one of your rhythms that was made over.
Yeah, man. My brethren, my bass lines have been played over a million times over from them time until now.
Could it be? Could it be went away to a far, far land? I'm not sure. I don't remember. So don't quote me on it.
No,
What about?
I'm not sure. I'm
What?
not sure right now.
What about? I think did you play Fever for Horace Andy?
Definitely.
Yes, yes, yes. And what was the what?
Spearman Face, Mr. Basie, and all of them doing there.
I believe that I'm mixing it up. It's probably Mr. Basie. More why you drop Mr. Basie for me right now. I need you to drop Mr. Basie for me. We have a few more seconds, of course, with the legend on the phone. Bobby's doing his homework, by the way, but I'm interrupting his homework to ask him to play Mr. Basie. Don't let down Leroy, Leroy give you 3 songs for play before him go home, And that no one tell you.
It's not easy for a selector just trying to tune,
Jawise is in the studio just laughing at Bobby Channel 1, searching for the selections that you're requesting.
Why you make the man start to search,
Give me Mr. Do you have Mr. Basie? You don't find Mr. Basie. All right, give me the Skylarkin. Give me the Skylarkin. Give me the Skylarkin. Liberal Love is saying that MPAL or MPLA is Shine Eye Girl. Is that true?
I don't know about that.
Joe gives label.
Hold on. Let me turn on the mic for Jawise. Jawise, step in, Jawise. Give me your expertise. Come in, man. Come in. Come in, man. You can't talk to Leroy from across the room. Come in. Open up one of them microphone there. The legendary Jawise from Heptones is in the studio as well. Jawise, what do you...
Jawise, how the food I got? How the food I got? You know, cook today?
Him say how the food I go.
Yeah, me cook, man.
Oh, you mean?
Last time me cook for you, you take a plane and go, man.
Oh, you mean? I are the chef.
Listen, Leroy, thank you so much for joining us today, man. The studio is filled with selectors, old and new. And we love your work. We love what you have done, and we commend you. And I just wanted to take this moment out of once again to say thank you so much. We're gonna beat the 3 tracks them for you, of course. If Bobby found them, did you find them, Bobby?
Yeah, I play some singles with him, where him alone sing.
Oh, yeah, play some singles. So you not find him song them then, Bobby.
No,
That can't tell me.
Them no find them.
If not find them, I said don't beat him up.
He was not prepared.
I must make that tune. Hey, Leroy. Remember you check me up on 93.5, me and Jeff Sarge, my boss here with the tune here. Listen to the tune my boss here with now.
Big tune! Big tune!
Leroy, how do you feel about, before you go, let me ask you this, how do you feel about singing over songs? How do you feel about that? What is your take on artists that, sing over other people's material?
You see, from it sing over good, but it's alright,
From it sing over good is alright, nothing wrong.
Yeah, nothing wrong.
If you spoil a man's song, it's a different thing, that, don't it?
Wrong.
Now, have you sung over songs in the past?
I don't want it to way.
Well, I know that one is a sing over, but have you done it in the past, in your glory days or your spotlight days?
One of our biggest tune is that over. The Sea of Love.
Ooh, big song.
Big tune.
Big song, Bobby.
Oh, you mean?
Bobby, tell me if you can find that one there. If you can find that one there, if you can find that one there, Bobby.
Hey. Leave Bobby alone, man.
Leroy, thank you so much, my brethren. And before you go, can you just give those who are listening around the world a little acapella of one of your favorite songs out of your catalog? Please, my brethren.
Yeah. I need a hot girl You know, that's it, I want it.
Thank you so much, my brother.
We're party tonight. Yeah, my brother, there, man. People all over the world, man. Protect on yourself. Stay safe, because we have to live in our cars, though. We life just a start. We have no party time to go. My brethren and sisters, oh, it's a pleasure. It was a pleasure being here, and I enjoy myself.
Give thanks, my brother. Give thanks.
Yes.
I know you
Thank
weren't
you,
prepared
too.
for this type of interview, but give thanks, my brother, for hanging out with I.
That is a sweet.
Love, Leroy, love.
All right, my brother.
Keep it up.
Give thanks. Give thanks. Give thanks. Give thanks.
Go on, this area.
All right, my brother.